Well done for being here for part 4 of our series. Today, I'm going to help you in delivering outcomes for participants in the online facilitation space. Hooray, we're reunited and it feels so good. We've been talking about Sam Kaner's role of the facilitator, talking about making sure we work to harness the diversity of the group, help them do their thinking and deliver outcomes, which I've said in the past can be quite a tension for us all. And moving into the online space, maybe a little bit more. Today we'll talk about some tools to help you with delivering outcomes in the online space. The first thing I try to make sure I'm clear on with people to help make sure we deliver on outcomes is really being clear in myself on what I see as the purpose of the workshop and the outcomes I'm trying to deliver. So this is an acronym word, 3-letter acronym, POP, purpose, outcomes, process. And again, back in my shiny object days when I first started being facilitating, I was big on process, trying to make things fun, exciting. So it's all about process, but hadn't really thought about, oh, geez, what is it I actually need to achieve here? What are the things I really need to deliver for my clients and participants? So I've learnt over time and got introduced to that great model of purpose, outcome, process to be really clear on number one, the purpose, what is it we're driving for, and the outcomes, the 3 biggies we want to deliver. And if you have a client that says to you, I want to deliver more than 3, go back and very subtly and politely say, I think you're dreaming, because it's not going to happen. 3 is as much as you're ever going to get in any workshop. Beyond that, it's going to be beyond the thinking time, it's going to be beyond the energy time, it's going to be beyond the doable time for people. 3 outcomes is where you're headed for. So make sure participants are clear on that as well. It just gives you a bit of an anchoring point to think about this is where we're headed. We're clear on the purpose and the outcomes, the conversations need to be broadly moving us towards that each time. Is this conversation moving us towards our outcomes? Let's keep talking about it. Let's unpeel it a bit more. Is this conversation not moving us towards our outcomes? Maybe we need to consider putting on the pause button and moving it into a different space. Maybe. Now let's move now into some tangible type tools that I use in the online space to help participants in terms of delivering on outputs. And the first one here is Groupmap. It is a beauty, developed here in, still see that? Yep, good. Developed here in Western Australia, go WA, by some fellows from Curtin Uni. It's a great online tool for capturing basic ideas, for brainstorming, for prioritising ideas, for ranking, for putting them on quadrants, all sorts of stuff. So the stuff you'd normally do using this kind of tech, does it online. It is fantastic. It's a paid subscription model, so anything's worthwhile, you've got to pay for it, that's the deal. But I would highly recommend it, and I'm not getting paid for this BTW, but certainly delivers value. And you can have it set up so either yourself as the facilitator is capturing the outputs as you go. You can do that in real time with a screen share type model so people can see it. You can have it set up so you have a scribe who's working with you virtually. They can be working in another space altogether, screen sharing, logged into Groupmap and be able to see what's happening. You can also have it so the participants have access to it. So you can give them a link so they can directly put in their feedback into the Groupmap, which is like a big flip chart really, individually or as in breakout groups. So you've got a couple of different options that you can use it for. The thing I love about it, it captures outputs in real time. Participants can see that in real time. It's great for reporting back should you want to do that. And it's really good for doing workshop reports because you can export it straight away into a couple of different formats. Bang, workshop report's done. If you want to do it in its most basic format, you can just basically share a JPEG or PDF version of it. Your work is done. You can go on to the next thing. How good is that? Some other tools you can use, which you've probably seen as well, are things like good old Google Docs or Google Sheets. They have their place in society, I believe. Hang on. Tear off that Band-Aid. They have their place. I find them a bit more clunky than using something like Groupmap, but if you're pushed for budget, they can be pretty useful, and they have some flexibility around them as well. Another tool I like using for delivering outcomes is one called Mentimeter. Let me bring that close. Mentimeter. Okay, so the beauty of Mentimeter, it can be used quite easily in a phone-based environment, whereas Groupmap a bit, so Google Docs and stuff, not really. So Mentimeter is a good tool for doing polls, for doing prioritization, doing voting and that sort of stuff. So it can be really good from an outcomes perspective to sort of getting a bit of a sense from the group about the degree which they agree with what's being proposed. And the thing that it brings is anonymity. It's a hard word to pronounce sometimes. I've been practicing that. Because you'd sort of think, well, you could just put our hands up, who agrees with that, who doesn't. Got a tense environment, some tough things going on below the surface that you don't know about, and you know that anonymity may be useful. Mentimeter is your tool. People can vote for things on their phone, they can scale things on their phone, or they can use the device that they're tapped into the online event with. So they're a couple of quick tools to help deliver outcomes. And obviously using your standard facilitation practices of going around the room, checking with individual people that we're delivering for them, making sure that we're sticking to time, all that sort of stuff. Another good thing for delivering outcomes is actually having time not doing stuff, to give people a break so they can refresh, to help them come back and do their thinking. So if you're having a break during a workshop, a couple of rules of thumb, which I'll go to in the next episode. I would recommend 90 minutes is plenty of, as much time as you want to do in one big session, and then have a 7-minute break with that. And 7 minutes means a break. Go and do go and get a cuppa, do a pee. Maybe do a pee. That's the word I'm trying to say. I was going to try to say something polite, but let's not do that. Strongly suggest switching off your camera for that. That's a good idea. So yes, if you need a few, I'll come back. The saying's really good. People love it every time. Fluid readjustment. That's the word. Fluid readjustment. It's much nicer than saying go and have a pee or grab a cup of tea. Where I'm going to with this is, in the break, encourage people not to touch their computer, not to check their email, and maybe even avoid messages. If there's a fire, they'll find out about it soon enough. If there's something more drastic, they'll find out about it soon enough. All right, so that's where I want to get to with outcomes. It's making sure people see them, they're being recorded in real time, and people can see progress and can see that their voice is being heard. Stuff we all know in terms of facilitation, but in the online space, even more important. So we'll come back in the next episode. We'll wrap up with my quick tips for making sure it all works for you and for the participants. Toodaloo. Great to have you here with me in delivering outcomes for participants in the online space. In our next episode, we're going to bring it all together so you can just check it all out and have one reference spot to help you. If you want to go back and check out other references, go to my website and there'll be plenty there, or just get in touch with me via email. Roo-roo.